For Black History Month, I'm talking about the work of one Black biblical scholar or theologian every day, and today is Stacey Floyd-Thomas's book, Liberation Theologies in the United States, An Introduction. For most of this series, I've chosen books written by single authors to highlight their unique methods and contributions. But when it comes to Floyd-Thomas, I cannot help but discuss and then recommend a book which she serves as a co-editor for and which has chapters written by a dozen different authors. I've recommended this book, Liberation Theologies in the United States, on my channel before, and that's because it's genuinely unique. No other book serves as such a readable and informative introduction to such a diverse array of contextual theologies. Theologies which are very popular and well known in the academy among scholars, but unfortunately theologies that are not well known amongst lay audiences. I don't know how many times I've heard somebody say, I wish there was a theology that spoke to my experience as a woman, or I wish there was a theology that challenged white supremacy, or I wish there was a theology that was more friendly to LGBTQ+ people, or I wish there was a theology that critiqued capitalism. Well, guess what? Those theologies exist, and there are chapter-length introductions to each of them in this book. Stacey Floyd-Thomas herself is the author of the chapter introducing womanist theology. Floyd-Thomas very carefully distinguishes between womanism or black feminism on the one hand and white feminism on the other. Floyd-Thomas points out that whereas many white feminists felt imprisoned in and disempowered by their roles as mothers, many black feminists knew that households headed by black mothers were a staple of the black community and a significant source of social influence. Whereas many white feminists had to fight for their right to enter into the workplace to begin with, many black feminists were forced into the workplace and so had a different conception of the value of labor and the capitalist systems in which they participated in. Whereas white feminists had to contend with asexual stereotypes as either an inexperienced virgin or a sexless mother, black feminists had to contend with stereotypes of sexual aggressiveness, insatiability, and exoticness. These differences may not seem all that significant on paper, but they generated very different sets of discourse in their respective communities. And parsing out those differences is very important for being able to understand feminism and womanism in sophisticated ways. Stacey Floyd-Thomas does a wonderful job introducing womanism in general and womanist theology in particular to a lay audience, and the rest of the chapters in the book are just as good. I cannot recommend this book enough.